The Texas Senate passes an anti-squatter bill to stop people from squatting in homes they don't belong in. Let's check out the footage from this, see what's inside this bill, and then we'll see what Florida did to stop this madness. Let's check it out.
The Senate passed an anti-squatter bill aimed at stopping people from living on property they don't own or rent without permission. Fox 7 Austin's Tan Bradford spoke with the author of SB 38, and she joins us live from the state capitol with the details. Tan.
That's right, Rebecca. Senator Betancourt says squatting has impacted thousands of people and caused thousands of dollars in damage. He says the new legislation will help speed up the eviction process.
This has been in the works for since last year, when Lieutenant Governor Patrick literally told my committee to secure Texas against squatters.
Squatting is a crisis that stretches across the state of Texas and is leading to a stretched out eviction process in civil court. Texas Senator Paul Betancourt says the current process punishes rightful property owners while rewarding trespassers.
We found that there was a much larger number of squatters than anyone realized. Dallas actually had 475 cases ongoing. We found hundreds more in one constable district in Houston. When you add all that up, we're looking at thousands of cases, and the cases are really horrifying.
According to Betancourt, under the new legislation, the landlord must give the tenant at least 5 days written notice to leave the property before filing for eviction, unless there is a written lease or agreement allowing for a shorter or longer stay. The courts are also required to act within 10 to 21 days of a property owner's filing.
You can't stay in the home because we have the ability to do a quick eviction process. And we did take an amendment that's already on the House bill by House Pro Tem Joe Moody that also made sure that the tenants in normal contract situations have some rights.
Betancourt says there was a 70% bipartisan support on the bill, but there has been pushback by some lawmakers and organizations that believe it may hurt tenants facing eviction.
I think we've struck the right balance between the property rights of the owners and the needs of the renters, but to drive out the squatters that are really taking advantage of the fact that
drive out the squatters.
That they think they don't have to pay anything, or they have no penalty of occupying what they don't own.
And that bill will have to pass the House before it makes it to the governor's desk. Live at the Capitol, I'm Tan.
Yeah, I hope this passes. This will be great because it's 435 or 475, whatever the amount is in the city of Dallas. The amount of cases there, that's ridiculous. One is too many. And then hundreds more in Houston. I mean, who knows how many more are, in Fort Worth or in San Antonio. So this is a big problem. Look, it's a state of 31 million people, and you're going to have some of those here that just refuse to leave somebody's property. I just don't know what makes people in their right mind think they can go into somebody's home and just claim ownership. I mean, it's crazy stuff. But Florida passed a bill recently squashing squatters' rights. Let's check this out. We also had a case here in Texas that happened last year, so I'll play that for you.
We move on next here tonight to the new state law that now allows squatters to be thrown out of homes that don't belong to them.
Governor Ron DeSantis signed the bill this afternoon in Orlando. And our Capitol reporter Forrest Saunders joins us now live from Tallahassee to tell us how all this will work. Forrest.
Well, guys, I can tell you this was not a very controversial policy. In fact, it was unanimously approved by the legislature earlier this year during the legislative session. And now, with Governor Ron DeSantis' signature, Florida becomes one of the first states in the nation to lean in on this issue.
With rental homes, second homes, and so many others, Florida is no stranger to squatters. In fact, just this week, Martin County Sheriff made national headlines warning of a viral video teaching squatters how to squat and circumvent the laws.
Crime is a lot like cancer. It spreads, and if you see it somewhere else, let's be on guard. Let's get ahead of it.
When someone is illegally occupying a vacant property, current rules require what can be a lengthy civil court battle to remove them.
All right, so here we go.
Wednesday, Florida's governor signed a new law to streamline that removal process.
Providing very swift remedies, because what the squatters know is even when they're in the wrong, it's a massive process many times before they can be evicted, and a lot of times the process is very expensive.
Property owners will now be able to request law enforcement immediately remove a squatter if they entered illegally. They've been told to leave and haven't, and as long as they're not involved in a tenant-landlord legal dispute. The new law also increases penalties, a second-degree felony if squatters...
So that's similar to what we're trying to get past here in Texas with, as long as you're not in a legal dispute with the tenant. I mean, if you're not a tenant involved with some kind of dispute or something like that. Yeah, but if you're just taking over somebody's home, then you've got to go. But Florida's law looks pretty good right here. So, yeah.
Cause more than $1,000 in damage, and a first-degree felony for knowingly advertising a fake home sale or rental.
My name is Justin Melcarrick, and I'm just one of the neighbors that had to deal with squatters invading our street.
The change is a big win for Floridians like Justin, who warned Wednesday just how bad things can get.
The squatters brought reckless driving, drugs, weapons, and verbal threats to the lives of my neighbors.
The new law also getting rave reviews from Florida's largest professional trade association, Florida Realtors. Vice President Andy Gonzalez said the Sunshine State now has a deterrent to halt the horror stories.
If you own a property, even if you're away for a period of time, you shouldn't have to go through legal loopholes if there's someone squatting your house.
The next step is for the changes to take effect. Florida's anti-squatting law now coming online in July of this year.
Okay, so let's talk about something more controversial, which is the vacation rentals bill, which got through the legislature earlier this session. That is a policy that would basically give the state more control over how to regulate vacation properties.
Yeah, that's I like the fact that in Florida you can have law enforcement remove somebody immediately. I didn't see that in Texas bill, but hey, it's a start. You give somebody 5 days and they have to leave, or the eviction process starts. But I say get these people out of there as soon as possible. Get them out, call the police, and they have got to go. But here's what happened in Texas. Squatter refused to leave a family's home.
Squatters' rights dominating national headlines in the recent weeks. But what is the law here in Texas?
Fox's Jordan Elder talked with a homeowner in San Antonio who is having a squatter issue and what you can do to protect your property.
Squatters breaking into my house again through the window.
Abram Mendez and his wife bought this home and hired this man to do some tile work. They allowed him to stay a few days, even made him sign a contract saying it was short term. But now they say the man won't leave.
We're not talking even a month yet. I believe today would be a month. And he had his long game already in mind.
Mendez says the man has barricaded the front room of this house. He's claiming squatters' rights.
I didn't allow you, I didn't allow him.
I can show you his rights.
But attorneys we spoke to say that's not how squatters' rights work in Texas. They say the man is a squatter, but he hasn't met all of these requirements to claim adverse possession. And the Mendez family is moving forward with an eviction.
He's not earning any legal rights or legal title to the property in that circumstance.
The intent behind adverse possession is to reward people who take care of property and put it to good use. It is not designed to reward bad behavior.
Hug and Bryant both assure you that squatters' rights are specific. People can't just enter your home and claim it as their own.
At least in Texas, that's not allowed.
This has been a hot topic across the nation recently, especially.
No, and then barricade yourself inside. I saw a video of a guy barricading somebody in his basement he found in there squatting. He just nailed up a piece of plywood or 2x4 on the door and trapped him in there.
especially since a new Florida law ends squatters' rights.
I hope that it makes like a firestorm across the nation as far as changing the laws, because it's not a victimless crime.
Attorneys say the best thing you can do to protect yourself is check in on all your properties frequently, because the sooner you get police and the courts involved, the more they can do to help you. Jordan Elder, Fox.
Jordan, thank you. In Texas, Governor Greg Abbott addressing this issue on X a couple of days ago, saying in Texas, anyone squatting in your home is breaking the law. They are criminals violating Texas laws like criminal trespassing and criminal mischief. He goes on to say the Texas Castle Doctrine empowers Texans to use force to defend themselves and their property.
Interesting. But that's good to know. But I think people do want some actual law on the books specifically targeting squatters. But here's another one. I don't know if you remember the story from last year.
They've been squatting, and if they have to get somebody killed, they'll do it. Calm down.
From Clayton County Sheriff's body camera, you can see the homeowner, Lalitha Hale, taken away to jail. Not the alleged squatter at this Livingston Drive home.
She's going to be charged with criminal damage to property for all of your belongings. Criminal trespass as well for her coming in here.
I spent the night on a mat on a concrete floor in deplorable conditions while this woman, this squatter, slept in my home.
Lalitha Hale says this all started back in August when she called police after finding Sakimia Johnson in the house.
How can she not be a squatter when I don't know this person? I've never had any type of contractual relationship with this person.
But a Clayton County magistrate judge ruled under the new Squatter Reform Act, Sakimia Johnson did not qualify as a squatter because she is related to a previous evicted tenant's partner.
I was written in citation about a lawful squatter and an order. A judge signed an order denying it, saying that I wasn't a squatter.
That started a multi-month court battle, filings and appeals. Johnson even filed for bankruptcy, listing Lalitha Hale as her only creditor. But November 18th, the magistrate judge ordered a final judgment in Hale's favor. Hale says she thought Johnson moved out.
Returned on Monday to start painting, and she had broken the locks and re-entered my property. She just pulled up out of nowhere, and she had this guy with him, and I locked the door. I locked the screen door, and he forced himself in, telling us to get out.
Hale admits she is
Yes, get out, you bum.
still waiting on a signed writ of possession, meaning she has no legal right to evict.
We have to be notified of this. A writ has to be served, and we have to be involved in that for it to be a legitimate eviction.
Hi there, it's Justin Gray with Channel 2. No one answered at the home when we knocked. The sheriff's deputy can be heard on body camera telling Hale to think of things from the alleged squatter's point of view.
But just think of it from this perspective, though. Everybody isn't as fortunate as you to have a bed. No, I'm just saying, a bed, the little things.
To see that woman walk into my mom's house while I was in a police car, something is wrong with this picture.
Oh my gosh. Imagine you, a police officer or law enforcement, come over and telling you to check your privilege. How privileged you are to own this home and a bed. I mean, give me a break, man. Come on now. Oh, the audacity of these people to just try to take over somebody's home, break the locks, whatever, board up the windows, and basically tell you, you're not coming inside this house. This is mine now. I saw a video, I think it was a lady, she had a, this is a story maybe a couple of years ago. A lady she had like an Airbnb or something. She was renting out one of the rooms, and a lady rented it, and she just refused to leave and basically just took over the home and said, I'm not leaving, was going to the kitchen, grabbing food, going back to the room, eating, just living there like it was her own place and saying, I'm not going anywhere. Yeah, but I thought this was interesting. I'm glad the Texas Senate is taking action on this, took action on this, and then hopefully the House will pass this. The House is terrible here in Texas. So please, you guys, if you're watching, get it together and pass these bills, because the Senate has passed some great stuff. And if you guys just get in lockstep with them, our state will be much better off. So yeah, I'll leave that right there. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Thank you. Take care.